Good evening, everyone. This is Ron Tyler with Emergency Management Associates coming to you live from the crossroads of the West in Salt Lake City, Utah. We want to welcome everybody here. The time right now is 6:02 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and that's in the Intermountain West in Salt Lake City, Utah. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody that's on the air with us now or who will be joining us later on a delayed broadcast basis or even later during our broadcast tonight. We want to thank you for being with us. We want to also apologize for not being here last night. We were not very ill. I'm not going to lie to you. Um, I couldn't have gone on the air last night if I really wanted to, and I did want to. It was bad. It was really bad. We are feeling not 100%. I won't lie to you that it's been a long day today. I have some drugs now from the doctor. I'm also doing exactly what a couple of people told me to do in regards to homeopathic means to get well. And I'm following everybody's advice right now. I am not throwing caution to the wind. I'm just tired of being sick. I did get a few hours sleep last night. Um, Probably not as much as I wanted to, but I do feel better today. And I want to thank you all for bearing with me. I want to thank my co host, Scarlet Anonymous, for hanging in there with us last night. She is a gem. I want you to know that. I know some people don't like her. Some people don't like her voice. Some people don't like me. Too bad. Too bad. She's not only my co host, but she's my partner in crime. And I'm glad we have her. She's also my dear friend. She and her husband and family are very close to me. And I want you guys to know that. And she's a part of this organization. I will not ever, I will not ever throw her under the truck. I won't throw her under a bus. I won't throw her under anything. She is a jewel. She's a very smart woman, and she has more on the ball than 90% of the people out there. And I'm not saying that all of you that are here with us are dumb. I'm not saying that at all. But she's just as smart as any of you, and she's just as good as anybody. Okay? Um, I'm very grateful for her. And her jumping in last night at a moment's notice, literally almost a moment's notice. She had a little bit of leeway, and I'm glad she um, decided to join us. I'm very grateful for it. Um, with that, I am going to be talking about earthquakes, but I'm going to be talking tonight more about some very pressing matters, and that is um, the coronavirus. Now, there are people, there are people that have said, and I'm going to quote them right quick here. Blank, so tired of hearing about this. If it isn't confirmed, why should we care? And also, it's not that serious. It's not like you're sure going to die if and when you get it. The media is freaking annoying to that person. Whether you're listening to this program tonight or not, you are freaking wrong. The coronavirus has been confirmed. Whether it's been confirmed in your state, in your city, your town, is almost immaterial. It's been confirmed that it is spreading around, and that's good enough for me. I'm sorry if you're freaking annoyed, but you need to face up to some facts. Number one, the coronavirus is very serious, and it's going to kill millions of people. Everyone, including the media, is saying, "Oh, gee whiz, it's just the flu. Thousands of people die every year because of the flu." This is a lot worse than the flu. I don't care what some media have said. Well, it's just the flu on steroids. It's more than just that. Okay, everyone needs to be careful, and everybody needs to take precautions. And we've talked and talked and talked about that. And I'm going to continue talking about being prepared. I'm going to continue talking about being prepared. The scriptures teach us. And no, I'm not getting off on a religious tangent, but the scriptures teach us. If you're prepared, you shall not fear. Go get prepared. Go get prepared. I honestly don't care about those people that say, "Oh, gee whiz, if you guys get the hand sanitizer, it's not going to work because it doesn't cover viruses." It depends on what hand sanitizer you do get. Okay, that I know because now I've seen about 10 packages just today alone. Yes, I did go to the store. Yes, I was wearing a face mask. I know what I am talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I wasn't born yesterday, it was the day before that. And I know some people may say, "Ron, that's a trite statement." I've been around the block a few times, guys. Yes, I spent 24 years in law enforcement. I got into law enforcement, but before that, I was an EMT firefighter. Then I was an EMT police officer. And even after I was told not to re up my EMT certification, guess what I did do? I did re up it. No, I did not give my certification to the police department because our police chief threatened to fire us if we did. But my primary job as a cop is to protect and to serve. It doesn't matter whether I take that badge off or hang it on my chest. I took an oath a lot of years ago to protect and serve my nation and my community and my family. Just because I've taken off the badge one last time, just because I've retired, doesn't mean I've forgotten what my primary responsibility is to you and to my community and to my nation. I haven't forgotten and I'm not going to forget. My primary responsibility is one, my God, two, my family, and three, the community and nation that I love. And I have not forgotten that, nor will I. And I don't care who says, I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to continue to put the warning voice out. I'm going to continue to make sure that everybody that is within the sound of my own voice is prepared. And that's the truth. That's the gosh awful truth. My responsibility for the rest of my life, my mission in this life now is to protect and serve. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I promise you that. In God's name, I promise you. I promised God a long time ago that if I was allowed to come here, that I would do what I needed to do to serve my fellow man and to return to him upstairs. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Now, I've got some things I need to speak to you about, okay, in regards to the coronavirus. First, let's talk about what U.S. lawmakers have done. U.S. lawmakers today reached a deal on $8.3 billion in emergency coronavirus law. Racing to confront a growing public health threat, key lawmakers in the House and the Senate reached a deal on Wednesday today to provide $8.3 billion in emergency aid to combat the novel coronavirus. And the House planned to vote later today to approve it, according to three officials familiar with the negotiations. The bipartisan package, which for the first time our lawmakers put their best foot forward instead of arguing over trivial, stupid things to destroy our country. They finally came together. The bipartisan package, which includes nearly 7.8 billion for agencies dealing with the virus, and they came together after days of rapid negotiations. And that's substantially larger than what the White House had initially proposed late last month. It also authorizes $500 million to allow Medicare providers to administer telehealth services so that more elderly patients who are at greater risk from the virus can receive care at home, according to the officials, which spoke on condition of anonymity in advance of a formal announcement. I wish on a stack of Bibles that these people would come forward and say who they are so we can actually get pertinent information on exactly what is going on instead of having to guess about it. Instead of having to guess about it. That in and of itself is very troubling to me. Very troubling to me. Okay, next. Coronavirus update. California has declared a state of emergency. I repeat, California has declared a state of emergency as infections spread in the United States. More cases were found in California, Washington, New York, Wisconsin, and 11 people in the United States have died. Outbreaks in Europe also have continued. A cruise ship returning to California is being held offshore until people on board are screened. A man who died Wednesday is thought to have caught the virus on that ship last month. Here's what you need to know. California declares an emergency and reports the first U.S. death outside of Washington state. U.S. lawmakers reached a deal on that $8.3 billion emergency coronavirus bill that I just got through explaining to you. Against medical advice, a man socialized at Dartmouth while awaiting a test result came back positive. Another death in Washington state and several new infections have prompted that state to declare a state of emergency. The CDC greatly expands the pool of people who can be tested to include anyone with symptoms. Let me read that again because you guys need to know this. The Center for Disease Control in Atlanta greatly expanded the pool of people who can be tested to include anyone with any symptoms. Okay? Yeah, you guys need to know that. Gavin Newsom this morning, as I reported, Gavin Newsom announced this morning that the state had declared a state of emergency to help mobilize its response to the coronavirus outbreak. The announcement came as the number of cases in the state shot up. It now has at least 54. At least 54 that they want to tell us about. The most of any other place in the continental United States. And as a cruise ship tied to at least 2 cases lingered off the San Francisco coast, medical specialists have been sent to that ship to screen everybody on it. Newsom said that 2,500 people, more than half of them Californians, had been aboard that ship during a recent voyage from San Francisco to Mexico. One of those passengers died Wednesday in a Placer County, California hospital, the first U.S. coronavirus death outside Washington state. Another passenger was being treated for the illness in Sonoma County, California, and federal officials are racing to contact others who had been on board. Governor Newsom said the ship is identified by its owner as the Grand Princess, had gone on to Hawaii and its next stop in Mexico, and then sailed back toward California with some of the passengers from the original San Francisco to Mexico leg of the voyage who are still on board. The Grand Princess was being held off the coast of San Francisco today as public health officials prepared to screen everybody on the ship. The governor said some people on board had reported possible coronavirus symptoms. The ship, quote, the ship will not come on shore until we appropriately assess the passengers, the governor said. The man who died in Placer County near Sacramento had underlying health conditions and had been in isolation at the hospital after falling ill. Officials believe the patient was probably exposed to the virus on the San Francisco to Mexico leg of the voyage last month. Now, we have already, on past shows, talked about older people and young people being the most susceptible type of people to catch the virus. And we've also spoken about these same kinds of people who have had underlying health conditions, other health conditions that would make their immune system worse off than if they had not been sick prior to that. So people that are already sick with some other illness or disease are more susceptible to catching the coronavirus. We have talked and talked and talked about what everyone needs to do to protect themselves. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I monitored last night's program that my associate Scarlett conducted for us last night. There were people in the chat room that didn't like her or didn't like the idea of her talking about the coronavirus. I want you to know right now, Scarlett is well versed, more so than almost anybody else. But if you don't like what we're doing here, you don't have to be on the program. You can be tuned to any other program in the world. There is an on and off switch. I promised you last year that we were going to do the hard news. We were going to cover earthquakes and everything else when other people were not willing to do so. We have fulfilled that promise and we will continue to do so. Now, Dr. Amy Sisson, the health officer at Placer County, California, said in a statement, quote, "We extend our deepest condolences to the loved ones of the patient that passed away. This death is an unfortunate milestone in our efforts to fight this disease, and one we never want to see again," unquote. Health officials in Los Angeles County announced 6 new cases on Wednesday, and Santa Clara County announced 3 more cases. The virus has been detected across the United States, but so far has been concentrated on the West Coast. Now I'm going to show you a video in just a few minutes of where Wisconsin also has announced that people in Wisconsin now have the virus. A person who conducted medical screenings at Los Angeles International Airport tested positive for the virus. And they were conducting screenings at the LA airport. And now they've tested positive for the virus. Now, I have to believe that the people that conduct tests on other people are taking adequate precautions and using proper protective equipment, PPE, to do the job. So if these people that are using proper protective equipment are coming down with the virus, anybody can come down with this virus. With that said, as I've said before, everyone, all of you, need to spread this message far and wide with your friends, your family, your relatives, neighbors, your associates at work, with your social media contacts here. Spread the word that if people that are wearing proper protective equipment, personal protective equipment, PPE, are coming down with the sickness, then all of us need to do what we have to do to make sure that we do not come in contact with COVID-19. The person last worked at LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, on February 21st, 8 days before showing symptoms of infection. Now, you also probably ought to know that the New York Times wants to hear from healthcare providers who are struggling to get patients tested for coronavirus or who are having difficulty getting sufficient medical supplies. So if you're one of those healthcare providers within the sound of my voice, contact coronavirus at newyorktimes.com. Also, contact your contact your own public health, state, local, city, county, whatever it is. Contact your own health department to see what they can do to get you more test equipment. Now, I'm not going to stop here. I am very disgusted with information that I am getting, and I get 99% of my information from the source. And what I'm hearing is that many of the test kits are not accurate. People are being tested 3, 4, and 5 times, and 3 or 4 of those times they're coming back negative, and the 5th time, 3 weeks later, it's shown to be positive for coronavirus. I've got issues with that. Not only that, but I've also been told, oh, you can only be possibly exposed to the virus and have the virus yourself and spread that virus for 12 to 14 days. Now they're saying 24 to 28 days. Which is it, folks? Experts, which is it? Is it 12 days? Is it 24, 28? Be honest with us. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, if you even believe that you have come in contact with the coronavirus, quarantine yourself for 28 days. Notify your public health department and the local hospital and your personal care physician or clinic ASAP. That way, other people are also told about it, where you can be tested. Don't wait around. Don't go to a hospital and possibly infect somebody else. Many of the hospitals are asking people to call them, and they'll send somebody out to test you. They'll ask you a bunch of questions, and then many times they'll send somebody out to test you. Because you coming into the clinic or you coming into the ER, you're going to spread the disease. Or someone else there may also have the coronavirus. And if you don't, by you going there, you're going to catch it. And if your immune system is low, you're totally screwed. Don't put yourself in that situation. One, wear personal protective equipment. We talked about masks and gloves last week and how to properly put them on and take them off and dispose of them. If you haven't seen that video, go back and find it and watch it. Now, each of the 6 new cases reported in Los Angeles County, California, was linked to a known exposure, a history of international travel, or contact with someone who had traveled or been diagnosed with the virus. Barbara Ferrer, the director of the LA County Department of Public Health, said at a news conference on Wednesday morning today that she and other officials expected to see more cases in the coming days, and that families should steel themselves away for potential school closures and cancellation of public events. This is a time for people to have a plan. I'm going to repeat that. This is the time for people to have a plan for what they would do should their child's school close or need to close. You should have a plan for what you are going to do to protect yourself, your family, your home, your loved ones, the people that you work with in your business. If you own a business, if you manage a business, you are responsible for every person there. And you have to come up with a plan to help protect yourself and every one of those people. Okay? This is absolutely necessary. I don't want to act like I'm wasting my breath. I'm disgusted with everything that's going on because I feel that we are not giving or being given proper information from the get-go. And for that, I'm disgusted. There's no reason for it. People can be honest with us. The media needs to start being honest. Now, I darn well know what everybody's going to say here, that the media has not been honest since day one. You're right, they haven't. But I also as an emergency manager, need to tell them that they need to start being honest with us. Their dishonesty is going to cause them to get sued or closed down because their mouth opened up with so much baloney that they're going to be held accountable for what they've done or what they do. Yeah, folks, you guys in media, you need to wake up and smell some roses. Stop doing the things you're doing and be honest. Now, over in Washington State has another death and several new infections there. A 10th person in Washington State has died from the coronavirus, and several new infections have been confirmed. Officials said today they ramped up testing because there's troubling evidence about how the virus is wide or widely that the virus is spread. The Seattle area is grappling to contain a worsening crisis that has seen the virus overrun a suburban nursing home, killing at least 7 residents. 10 of the 11 confirmed U.S. deaths so far have occurred in Washington, and all have been reported in the last few days. The region's medical resources are under incredible stress right now, said Patty Hayes, Director of Public Health for Seattle and King County. We need to slow the spread of the disease to the point where our healthcare system can continue to handle the load. Now, I know what this person said. Who is the Director of Public Health for Seattle and King County? They want to slow the spread. I don't think they know how to slow the spread. Slowing the spread is going to be up to you and I, because the elected officials and the public health officials so far haven't been able to stop it or slow it down. It's up to us to exercise proper judgment before we go to a concert, before we go to the airport, before we go to the movie theater, before we go to church, or anywhere else there's a large group of people where we don't know where they've been or who they've been in contact with. Are you and I exercising correct judgment to do the things we need to do to protect ourselves and our family? If not, you need to reconsider it. Okay. Washington had its first confirmed coronavirus case in January, but officials had not found any others until late last week. They've expanded testing in recent days, and that has identified dozens more infections. What has happened there is they found one case and they sat on their hands. And then all of a sudden, when a few more cases and a few more become evident, they go, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Again, the people that are supposed to be taking care of us have not been doing it. Our elected officials are playing games, along with the media that's protecting the elected officials. As I said, it's up to you and I, and nobody else is going to do it for us. On Tuesday, yesterday, officials announced that the virus had killed 2 people a week ago, suggesting that the illness had spread in the Seattle area days earlier than was previously known. Again, we are not being given proper information. They hid it, just like that other agency that we all know and love, hiding information. It's called the sin of omission. A lie is a lie is a lie. and it multiplies and divides just like this virus is, and it spreads. Again, I'm asking for the media and all public officials to get up off their butts and their hands and start doing what is right at the right time for the right reasons. You should also know that yesterday Amazon itself emailed its staff in the Seattle area saying it had learned that an employee in one of its buildings in the South Lake Union neighborhood had tested positive. The employee had not been to work since February 25th. February 25th. That was 8 or 9 days ago. And now they've tested positive. Also, Amazon is not mailing out anything, anything in the way of personal protective equipment because they don't want the experts, the so called experts, to come up short when they need the PPE, meaning masks, goggles, gloves. Other places, including Walmart, and I've seen the pictures. I've also seen the shelves that are empty now. My pharmacy had no vitamin C on the shelf. Yeah, no vitamin C at all. None. Zip. Zero. Zilch. If my pharmacy doesn't have it, either does yours. You need to call those people and ask them why not. If they haven't ordered it, why they haven't. If they have any idea when it's coming in, let us know. Now, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, said today that they have broadened the guidelines for coronavirus testing, allowing doctors to order a test for any patients who have symptoms like fever, cough, or difficulty breathing. It's about time. Doctors are being encouraged to first rule out other causes of respiratory illnesses, including influenza, and take into consideration whether there are other local coronavirus cases. Even so, the new standard greatly expands the pool of patients who qualify for testing, which greatly expands the number of people that are tested, which greatly expands the number of people that are going to come up positive for the coronavirus. Now, as I said within the last 40 minutes since we've been on the show, that the test kits have not always proved reliable. So people are being tested 3, 4, and 5 times before they come up positive. Again, if someone has tested you and they said, no, you're negative, ask them to retest in 2 or 3 days and retest again 2 or 3 days after that and retest a week or so after that and a week after that. Get yourself tested and quarantine yourself. Isolate yourself. Don't go out. Use your telephone and call other people who can do your running for you and have them leave the stuff on the porch that they have purchased and picked up for you. And have them call you when it arrives so some porch idiot doesn't steal it. Previous guidelines before this new change in policy from CDC, the change said they could relieve some of the frustration of patients and doctors who've been denied access to the test when they thought it was warranted. Previous guidelines required a patient to have symptoms of respiratory illness as well as a clear risk factor for exposure, like recent travel to China or a number of other affected countries with a known contact of coronavirus patient. But you as an individual need to think back who you've talked to, who you may have been around, and advise your public health department of that information, including anybody that looks like they could possibly have gone to China or North Korea or Italy. Or if you've heard of anybody even going there and all of a sudden you see them, stay away from them. Now, the federal government has promised to ramp up testing, but some companies and public health officials have cast doubt on the government's assurances. You can't trust a politician because a politician is just that, a multi-fingered tick. Yes, a multi-fingered tick that can get in your clothes or get under your skin and drive you crazy. Because those politicians open your mouth and say something directly opposite from what they should have told you. Be aware of that. Now, a spokesman for the Department of Health and Human Services in Washington, D.C., said on Monday that the labs currently handle 15,000 tests a day, though that figure is expected to grow. Okay? Folks, don't trust them. Be your own person. If you feel you have it, stay away from anybody else. Isolate yourself. Notify your public health department. Like I said, they can come over and test you, but don't trust the first, the second, or the third no, because the fourth or the fifth may show you to have it. But while you're isolating yourself, isolate yourself for up to a month. Up to a month. Now, I'm going to advise you something. People continue to ask me, how long do I need to prepare for? The federal government will tell you 3 weeks to 3 months. I'm saying 6 months to a year, at least. At least. Get your preparedness plans in order. Get your preparedness kit in order. If you listen to Dave Hodges, what has he said to do? Food, water, guns, ammunition, gold, silver, and more ammunition. Protect that which is yours, that has the greatest risk of being eliminated. Keep track of what you guys are doing. I'm also, besides telling you to get a kit and emergency preparedness supplies, you need to keep a journal of everything you do, when you do it, and how you do it. And remember in that journal to state whether you use personal protective equipment to protect yourself. Because when the crap hits the oscillator, you have exact identifying information. If you don't, the officials that are supposed to do this aren't going to know. And you might not be able to tell them. So what does that tell you? Be prepared. There was a reason that the Boy Scouts have said that and use that as their motto. Be prepared. Now, New York has also added 9 cases that have been connected to one of its first cases, bringing New York, the state, to a total of 11 people now that have contracted the coronavirus. Okay? These are newly confirmed and all have tested positive for the illness. The new cases include a man and his wife, his son, 20, his daughter, 14, and a neighbor in New Rochelle, New York, a Westchester County suburb, who drove the man to the hospital. Remember, who you are around and who you are with are also going to come up positive. Protect yourself and protect them. Use proper protective personal equipment, PPE. The discovery of the Westchester father, a man who's about 50 and works with his wife at a law firm in Manhattan, had the illness set off a search by health officials across the region to determine whether he had infected others who might have infected him. So far, about 1,000 people were being asked to self-quarantine. One man is around a bunch of people, not just in his office, but his personal life. And those people were around people, and those people were around people. How do you think that this virus propagates itself? Because so many people are spreading it, we don't even realize it, and neither do they. So we have all these people in New York, all these people in Washington State. It's no wonder that this virus is spreading like wildfire out of control. As I told you last week, there are hospitals still here in Salt Lake that think that, oh, everything's going to be fine. The media doesn't know what it's talking about. Everybody says, oh, everything's going to be great. Everything is not great. You guys, more than anyone else, should know that. All's not well in this city, in this state, in this country. All is not well in that town where the Music Man was. I don't even remember the name of that town. I love musicals. But folks, what are you doing? What are you doing to take responsibility for your own actions? Okay? The number of deaths in Italy, the government has attributed to the coronavirus jumped from 79 on Tuesday to 107 today. 107 today. 38 people jump. A 38-person jump in less than 24 hours. More than any country but China, where the epidemic allegedly began. And Italy's people are by far the oldest in Europe. 23% of their population is 65 and older, and most of the victims have been elderly. My gosh, I wonder why. The elderly and the young, folks. The elderly and the young. Italian officials reported 3,089 people infected so far, up more than 400 from Tuesday. A figure surpassed only by China. And they're not even being honest about the number of cases they have, the number of cases that have been treated, the number of cases that have died, the number of cases that have recovered. I announced yesterday during the day, there were over 90,130 cases yesterday. It's spreading like wildfire. School has been called off in Italy until they get a handle on it. Everything from day-to-day daycare centers, other schools, and universities. Their education minister said this was not an easy decision to make. It's a hard fact of the real situation that we are in. All I'm asking everyone is to treat it as it is, a very much an emergent situation, and ask yourself, what are you going to do about it? Over in France, you guys know what the Louvre is? The Louvre is reopening, but they have some new rules. In Paris, France, it was closed to the public for several days. The museum's management has agreed on measures to lessen the concerns of staff members at the world's most visited repository of art. These are simple, such as giving workers hand sanitizers. Others are more complicated, including what to do about the salle des fêtes, salle d'état, excuse me, salle d'état, the room containing the Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci's iconic painting, which is typically mobbed by crowds. To satisfy worker demands, management has agreed that the guards will no longer have to move through the crowds to keep visitors moving and prevent bottlenecks. But on Wednesday, the museum reopened, but that was not much of a problem. There were only a few dozen visitors in the room. There was even space to take selfies in front of the Mona Lisa. Taking selfies. That's a wonderful thing to do when you know for a fact that your own city, the city that you may be visiting, they have a problem you don't know about. And certainly now they probably do. They ought to have a huge sign at the entrance to the museum. If you're sick, turn around. If you even think you're sick, turn around. If you're coughing or sneezing, get out of here. Now, I've told many of you, and this should be no surprise, that you guys need to take the bull by the horns and take some responsibility. One, don't shake anybody's hands. Give them a hand butt or a shoulder nudge or something, an elbow nudge. Don't shake hands and then rub your face. Already, I think I've contacted my face at least 5 times in the last hour that I've been on here. Watch what you are doing. Okay? Now, the next part of this story, some of you may feel that it's kind of ironic. Other people will say this is not a laughing matter, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. I heard about it yesterday. The producers of the James Bond movie franchise said today, meaning yesterday, that the release of the latest film, quote, No Die to Die, or No Time to Die, unquote, would be delayed from April until November. It is one of Hollywood's first significant responses to the potential worldwide threat of the coronavirus. It's ironic that the name of the film is No Time to Die. Okay? Many of you know the titles, of many of the movies that have come out previously. Fascinating. Now, the World Health Organization, who's supposed to be running this show, but it's ironic that they are not. They can't even keep the world going themselves, let alone keep the world safe. They said today that the virus is deadlier than any seasonal flu, but may not transmit as easily. Really? The coronavirus may not transmit as easy as the other kinds of flu that we've had in our country? Who's lying to whom? Who's lying to whom? It's not as deadly. Folks, I don't know how many people I've talked to that work in hospitals, either as doctors or nurses, that have said that their staffs don't feel that there's a problem, that they're not concerned. You need to start being concerned. You need to start doing and taking the measures seriously to protect yourselves and your family and the hospital and your patients. Wake up and smell the roses, people. I just talked to somebody on Sunday. My gosh, it's only Wednesday. But Sunday, they were still saying, oh, our facility doesn't think it's a serious matter yet. How many people are going to die before you realize that it is a seasonal issue with flu generally? The COVID 19 is a deadly disease in and of itself, and its own genome has been altered where it is a weaponized virus. It can do more harm even getting into your system than before it leaves, if it ever leaves. And now people are concerned that people that have already had COVID 19 are going to get it again and they're going to die the second time. That'd be my concern too, and that's where I'm at. Why else would I cover all this stuff for so long? Why else would I continue to talk about it? Why else would I go through the PPE necessary to help you protect yourselves? I'm protecting mine. You need to protect yourself. Don't say I'm a crackpot, because I don't really care what you say. If you're saying I'm a crackpot, why don't you turn me off and go watch Seinfeld or some other video or movie? Other countries are now getting the virus. Other countries. I want to make sure. I want to make sure that you have the necessary information to make decisions for yourself and your families. Don't wait for some other agency or organization or a group of people to come to you and say, you need to get tested. We're testing you right now. And you test positive and they haul you off to an isolation unit. I don't want to go there. I'm trying to do my best to protect everybody. I should have stayed home. That's what I should have done. But I had my own personal protective equipment. And yes, it's kind of wild to see a guy that presently doesn't feel good himself and is not able to walk around a huge Walmart that's driving a handicap cart. Because no, I couldn't walk the facility by myself. But I had gloves on. I had goggles on and I had a mask on. And I may be going to a N95 or N100 mask by the end of this week. Something to consider, folks. Something to consider. And I would. I definitely would. Okay. I am just wanting to let you know what is going on. Okay, I mentioned Wisconsin. We've been talking about coronavirus for an hour. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Why do you think I'm so serious? Because I want you to have the information. I do. Now, I want to show you another video here. 5 new cases being tested for coronavirus now. It's not over, folks. It's not over. What are you doing? What are you doing? I hope that you're doing whatever you can. Please, I'm passionate about what we're doing. I am. I've got my fingers on so much going on. And yes, I need your help, and you guys are helping me. But take the responsibility to take care of yourself. Okay? I've been saying that for years. I've been asking people to take care of themselves for years. And people laughed at me. And people scorned me. They still are. Ron, why are you so passionate? You know nothing's going to happen. Oh, really? So now you tell me what I know? Guess what? I do know what's going on. I do know what's going on. And yes, as some of you know, I don't take as good a care of myself as I should, but I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can this time to kick whatever I've got. True story. I'm not coughing as much. I'm not sneezing as much. I'm doing whatever I can, and I'll continue to, because I feel that I have a responsibility to help all of you. And I will. That's the honest to God's truth. I will help you. I'll help anyone with anything as long as we can save some lives. And that's what we're all about. Now, folks, let's talk about some earthquakes. Let's talk about some earthquakes. Let me bring up this map. And again, as you know, these people themselves, this wonderful group of individuals here in the United States can't tell the truth, just like every other agency that can't tell the truth. Okay? Today, we've had another 5.1 magnitude earthquake in the South Sandwich Islands, South Atlantic Ocean. What is going on, folks? Another 5.1, south of Bristol Island in the South Sandwich Islands. Look at over here in New Zealand, north of the main islands in New Zealand. Raoul Island, 177 kilometers east-southeast of Raoul Island. A 5.0 magnitude earthquake. So now we've got two 5.0s. The rest of the earthquakes, they're not even telling us about. Over here in Fiji, south of Fiji Islands, we've had another 4.6, 536.5 miles or kilometers beneath the surface, 336 miles beneath the surface. A very deep quake, not powerful, but very deep quake. 4.6 is moderately powerful. It can still do damage. And a lot of people reported it. Woohoo! Now, I'm not going to do any forecasting on where the next larger, shallower quake is going to hit, because everything that we've talked about in the past few days, everything that we've talked about, in fact, in the past several weeks, has come up for naught. Because for some reason, the shallower, stronger quakes have not happened. It used to be the case where we had a deep quake, we would have another shallower, stronger quake. And now they're making liars out of us. So all the evidence of a stronger, shallower quake is either not being told to us or is not happening. And I think it's probably a little bit of both. So that happened in the Fiji Islands today. A 4.6 moderate earthquake. It was deep, 336 miles deep. Here in Vanuatu, also in the South Pacific, a 4.7 moderate quake, 85 kilometers west-southwest of Port Vila, Vanuatu. Over here in the South, or the Asian Theater, in the West Pacific, a 4.2, in Belunggala, Indonesia. A 4.5 in south of the Mindanao, Philippines, nearest is Sarangani, Philippines, or Sarangani, Philippines, I should say. 125 kilometers south-southeast, out in the western Pacific Ocean. Okay. Did not hit land. Again, the ocean waters have slowed the expansion of the seismic waves, so it didn't really affect anybody on land. Another quake that just came to us, a 4.5 magnitude quake nearest Marizo village in Guam, a U.S. protectorate territory of Guam. 4.5 earthquake hit. Just now, also, a 4.9, 5.0 magnitude quake hit 114 kilometers south of Raoul Island, New Zealand. So now they've had a 5.0 and they're reporting a 4.9 there. I don't believe that it was probably a 4.9. They noticed they had a 5.0 there earlier, and now they're saying, oh, it's just a 4.9. Agency I know you guys are listening. Seeing what has happened, no one can trust you because you lied so much. Earlier today, we had a 4.8 in Guam, and now we have a 4.5 there. South and east of Chichishima, Japan, we had a 4.9, 5.0. Up in the Aleutian Islands, Amatanak Island got hit again, another 4.0 there. Over on the southwest part of the peninsula in Alaska, near Cherburna Island, we've got another 3.1 earthquake. Again, that seismic energy is traveling through the Aleutian Island chain and is going up into Alaska. My gosh. My gosh. What is going on in Alaska? And I know some of you are asking me, what is going on in Alaska, Ron? More seismic energy is traveling up there. And more seismic energy is not being released. It's trapped in Alaska. And I believe we've got seismic energy that's trapped over along the coast of North America. Okay, let me show you something here. Let me show you something. This is what's going on right now in Alaska. What you're seeing is the peninsula of Alaska. Okay, they're not showing that over at the USGS side. This is the European map. Okay, let's go over further up, about halfway up the Alaska Peninsula to Old Ilama Volcano. We had a 1.8 there. 1.8, Old Ilama Volcano. What do you think is happening at Mount Redoubt? What is happening at Mount Redoubt? I'll tell you, a 2.3 magnitude earthquake at Mount Redoubt Volcano. At Tyonek, Alaska, just south of Mount Redoubt, another 2.5 there. That's what's happening. Yes, they are small, basically small quakes. But how many times do we have to tell you about small earthquakes? Small earthquakes and swarms of earthquakes tend to spawn larger quakes. We have seismic energy that's built into Alaska, and we're just waiting for a large whopper to hit Alaska. Yeah. Okay. So that's what's going on. The other earthquakes north of Mount Redoubt are all ones. They're all ones. 1.5, 1.6. Even up around Mount McKinley, 1.7. Tanama, Alaska, 1.6. Badger, Alaska, 1.2. The only 2.0 that we have up there is north and east of McKinley, near Delta Junction, Alaska. We've got a 2.0. Most of the seismic energy is centered around Anchorage. What's going to happen, folks? We're going to have an earthquake there, and it's going to be a memorable earthquake. Now, during the past month, everything north of the Arctic Circle has been vacant in Alaska. Very few earthquakes there. Today, there are two earthquakes up in northern reaches of Katavik, Alaska, above the Arctic Circle, up on the north shore of Alaska, where the oil and gas drilling is going on. Katavik had a 3.0 and a 3.2 magnitude earthquake up there. Okay. Katavik finally had two threes, a 3.0 and a 3.2. It's moving there. Now look what's going on over here. Let me lower the light level here so you can see this. I'm sorry. Can you see what's going on? 100 earthquakes around Southern California. We've had a lot of earthquakes there. Now, for the most part, we're only seeing, and God only knows why, because the agency doesn't want us to know what's going on. And I believe that. I am completely disgusted with that agency. Hold on, I'm trying to find something real quick. And it's gone right now. That's what I thought. It bothers me that our agency, and I've expressed this to you guys hundreds of times, probably comes as no surprise. Our own agency won't tell us the truth. Go figure. Anyway, over in the North Yukon Territory, or Southern Yukon Territory, we have a 1.7 in Canada and several other ones up there in the eastern area of Alaska and Southern Yukon Territory, coming down the coast of North America. Again, Queen Charlotte's Island, earlier today, 5:45 a.m. Mountain Time, we had a 2.5 that hit on the north end and east of Queen Charlotte's Island. Okay, Port Clemente at 2.5. Off the central part of Queen Charlotte's Island, we had a 2.1. So we have seismic energy that's creeping out of Alaska and making its way down the North American corridor, the North American continent. It's making its way down. We don't have anything in Vancouver right now. Over in Washington State, Enumclaw, Washington, a 1.79. I wish it wouldn't do that. A 1.79. Then let's go south. Kalama, Washington, a 0.92. Then let's go east. What do we have there? Two more earthquakes. Mount St. Helens, you say? Yes, it is Mount St. Helens. We have a 0.35 and a 0.65. Mount St. Helens got hit today. Well, glory be. Is that a surprise? No. As we pointed out Monday, Mount St. Helens has been steaming. Again today, the summit of Mount St. Helens, the crater got hit again today. Again today. That was a 0.35. Okay. Not fun. And then on the south foot, the south flank of Mount St. Helens, we had a 0.65. A 0.65. The mountain is infilling, folks. Tomorrow we'll be doing a Cascadia update. I'm hoping that Terry will have everything together so we can talk about Cascadia. He was supposed to get all the paperwork and the diagrams and maps out. Still hasn't come out yet. We're looking for it. And when it does, we will have you that and give you that information. Now, I'm going to take you over to West Yellowstone, 22 miles west-northwest to get West Yellowstone. We had a 0.31 and a 0.49 magnitude earthquake. Okay, it's not the only thing. We had a small swarm, actually a large swarm. So now we've had two. Let's see how many earthquakes there really are up here. Okay, up near Old Faithful Geyser, 10 miles north-northeast of Old Faithful Geyser. We have a 0.83. 0.83. 9 miles north-northeast of there is 0.93. Northeast of there is 0.35. Now these are spread out a little bit, folks. These are spread out, but they're happening. Let's go south. 9 miles north-northeast of Old Faithful, we have a 0.36, a 1.25, 1.0, and a 0.69. Okay. A good swarm of earthquakes, right? 9 there, 10 there, a total of 10 there. And that's not all, folks. There's more. There's more. Here's another. Here's another couple here. 14 miles east-southeast of Yellowstone. We have a 0.98 and a 1.17. So there's 12 earthquakes in Yellowstone that we have knowledge of. Go to Mary Greeley's Yellowstone report today. She has some excellent information. She may be listening to our broadcast. I hope she is. I gave her a compliment the last couple of days on several of her programs. Great reporting, Mary. Keep up the good work. Mary does excellent work when it comes to Yellowstone. She's one of the few people can trust because the agency certainly isn't doing the job. The agency either won't or can't do the job. So somebody had to do it. Mary's done it. I commend her for it. Does awesome work. She does a lot of great work. Okay. So now we've told you about earthquakes around Queen Charlotte's Island, Washington State, but they're not reporting anything south of there in Oregon. Nothing in Oregon. Folks, guess what? Tomorrow you're going to find out that there is magma infill going on in even Oregon. Washington has had its earthquakes, but so has Oregon. And we're going to show you that tomorrow night. Again, for those people that are new, back in 2012, a study was done. Researchers from the University of Oregon went out and placed 57 sensors off the coast of Oregon, Washington, seismic sensors. 2 years later in 2014, they said there was 80,000 earthquakes a year. There were 80,000 earthquakes a year being picked up by those sensors. If that's the case, if that's the case, they should be telling us about anywhere from 80 to 100 earthquakes a day that are happening up and down the coast, and they're not. Why? I'd like some answers. You researchers at the University of Oregon, call me. Call me. Call me so we can put you on the air, so you can tell us exactly what is going on. Chris Goldfinger, you're welcome to come on this program. You're the one person that's been honest with the public. Chris Goldfinger, please give me a call. Let's set up an interview. Let's bring you on the program. Let's talk. Chris Goldfinger is a professor at the University of Oregon. I trust him more than I can trust the agency. The agency still doesn't tell us the truth. You people at the University of Idaho that run all the machines up at West Yellowstone, call me. Let's talk. Let's put out some truth, because nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is doing it. We want you on the air. So Chris Goldfinger, contacts at the University of Idaho, University of Utah, call me. Let's go on the air. I'll even take your statements off the air. I'll take your statements off the air. But I want to give you the chance to know what's going on. Let everybody know what's going on. Let's have some honesty in reporting. Okay? Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, what we've been telling you is nothing new. For those of you that were looking forward to see Tim and Mel go on the air tonight after our program, they are not going to go on the air. They decided not to. I just got that message. I want to thank Mel for letting us know. And by the way, Mel, we miss you. We do miss you when you're not on the air. Mel is the webmaster for the Freedom Revolution Network. And at the beginning of this program, I neglected to thank the Freedom Revolution Network for hosting our show, as they do every night, and hosting our other news segments that we have put on the air to bring you up to date and breaking coverage of various events. We thank you for that. Mel does an awesome job. I can't say enough about the great women of the Freedom Revolution Network. Yeah. Great people. Great, wonderful people. But anyway, you guys, I think we have somebody that wants to talk to us. Welcome to the program. You're on the air with Ron.
on. This is Times and Signs, and I figure I want to let everybody know with you that you're always correct. If you all find wrong, incorrect, you need to study deeply, because this man's been around for years with emergency management associates and with professionals to let you know that what he states is 100% correct, 100% true, and don't let me get my rubber ducky to come after y'all. And there are events
I was gonna start singing Rubber Ducky.
Rubber ducky, you're the one.
Don't get me started. I'll start coughing tonight.
Oh no, I don't want to cough. But Rubber ducky, I went ahead and used my chemical fizz and turned him white.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, just know that me and Bill and quite a few others backed you. I've been watching the chat, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So, and all you professionals, you dare call this man not professional? Call him. He's waiting on you.
Yes, please. Go ahead, make my day. Call me.
I mean,
let's talk.
Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah.
God bless you, brother. I love you. I'm getting off here so other people will call you.
All right. Thanks, sis. Love you too.
All right. Love you too, hon. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Hey, folks, we have about 30 minutes. We're going to stay on the air for another 30 minutes. I have decided to open up this. Holy crud. Where did my information go? Where did my information go? My gosh. Here it is. I thought I put it away. I did. Folks, the telephone number you can reach Emergency Management Associates is area code, 1-669-900-6833. That's 1-669-900-6833. Our meeting ID is 238-494-3128. If you want to get on the show, dial 669-900-6833. Plug in meeting ID 238-494-3128, and you can immediately come into the studio where we can talk with you. Be happy to. Let us hear your voice. Let us know what your opinion of the day is. Let us know how we can help you. Because if we can help you, we will. I will take notes. I will gather the information, and I'll come right back to you with it as soon as I possibly can. I always do, and I always will. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Yeah, go ahead and make my day, agencies. Please. Clint Eastwood or Dirty Harry said it right. Go ahead and make my day. Did I shoot 4 or did I shoot 5? Please give me the chance. I'll talk with you. Let us reason together. Excuse me. 2 minds are better than 1. Let's talk. Let's talk. Today, I was privy to a briefing by Yellowstone. The man giving the briefing said that good old Geyser, not Old Faithful, the other one, had erupted 4 times since the beginning of the year already. Let's see if it will continue to set records as it has in the past. The past year was incredible. But they were talking about that and talking about how Yellowstone had only a few earthquakes and nothing over a 3. Well, guess what? Yes, there's been a few over a 3. We've been watching, guys. Go ahead, make my day. I would love to have you guys on the air. We can talk. And yes, I do monitor Yellowstone. Yellowstone is one of my uh, favorite places to be. I spent a lot of time in Yellowstone as a child. I've been up there a few times since. I'd love to go back. I don't know whether I ever will. We'll see. I would love to go there. Rented a motorhome. When was that? That was about 2003, I guess. A bunch of my friends and I decided to drive over from Littleton, Colorado to West Yellowstone. Had a great time. Unfortunately, another motorhome hit the side of ours and took off the driver's side outside rear view mirror. Smacked it. Broke it in pieces, tiny pieces. Then we had to replace it, and that cost some money. Yellowstone is beautiful. At that time, it was still recovering from fires in West Yellowstone. It was recovering, but you could see blackened stumps of the trees that burned when Yellowstone was on fire. But the new growth was rekindling the old Yellowstone. New growth, new animals. A lot of animals perished in Yellowstone fires, just as we had animals perish in the 9 states were underwater last spring. It caused somewhat of a food shortage last year. And I think it's going to still plague us for years to come. That's one of the issues that I see with the coronavirus. Okay? And we don't know exactly yet what Cascadia is going to do. Okay? And yes, I'm going to call Terry, talk to him tomorrow, and see what he has to say. I've got a few other people I'm going to talk to too, to see what we can do. But there is a lot of information out there, folks, that we're going to bring to you. I have no problem with that. I have no problem at all. Also, before we leave the air today, I wanted to touch base with another bunch of earthquakes that continue to happen. And yes, we just had even another one. And it just happened over in Hawaii. So let's go over to the Big Island and see what we have today. The newest earthquake is a 2.5, 6 kilometers east of Pahala. Go figure. What else is new, huh? What else is new? Pahala. Look at all the earthquakes in Pahala, folks. Go figure. Go figure. Oh, we have another caller. Yay. Hello, hello. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. Who are we speaking with?
This is Susie Fujinaga again. We spoke a couple of days ago.
Hi, welcome aboard.
Hey, now did you get my email I sent you with the confirmation? I sent it to Mel because I didn't know what other address to send it to with the
Yes,
confirmation that they are watching 60 people in Missouri for Corona.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Okay, cool.
That's what's concerning me. That's what's concerning me. Not all this information is not getting out. Okay?
Exactly.
60 people in Missouri, 11 people up in Wisconsin. Up in
And see,
Wisconsin.
that's where I'm from. Yeah. Now
I've
they're
got a
watching these
cousin
people
there.
in Missouri. Yeah, I hear you. I have a bunch of relatives in Wisconsin.
Oh, I don't know.
And Ron, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I've been listening to you, and my friend has been listening to you. And I told you a couple of days ago I bought a trailer. It gets delivered tomorrow, and then we have a safe place that has been prepped for a long time listening to you guys. And I'm 69. You know, you and I have lung conditions. They would haul us away. And so people are listening to you, Ron, and I thank you so much for everything you do.
Well, thank you very much. We're not going away. We may have lung conditions. You and I are not going away.
That is exactly right. You know, I look like a sweet old spry granny, but that's my disguise.
That's it.
Yep, I help people heal. So, and you are helping so many people who are listening. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much. Really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you calling and being part of the program. And also, you can send email to Mel, or you can send it to EMA at Freedom Revolution network.com, and I'll get it there, my email there.
Okay.
You can also send it to Emergency Management Associates at Gmail, and I'll get it there.
At Gmail. Okay. Yep. All right. Great.
So anywhere you want to send it, we'll get it.
All right, cool. I'm a nurse, an old nurse, 69, and I got to tell you, this virus scares the pants off of me, and that ain't a pretty sight.
It scares the pants off of me too.
Because I just cannot even. Now, I was watching Marfugel show the regular RV trailers that they've set up outside of Seattle somewhere, Washington, and 6 people to a trailer. Well, you know, every single person's going to get it. Mm-hmm. If they don't have it already, every person will get it. Yep. How many trailers do they have? 5. Well, they're just going to be able to take care of everybody, huh? No.
Yeah. You know, they have no business. They have no business housing all those people together. Each person should be self-isolated.
I hear you. I do. And I'm just so glad I'm not a nurse anymore. I did my time. I did it happily. And now it's my time to stand down, but I'm with you, Ron.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I like you already know, I have my own lung conditions. First, I had pneumonia 2 years ago. Then they found blood clots in my lungs, blood clot beneath my left knee. Now I'm on blood thinners. I am watching my health like a zombie, worried about it, taking care of myself, doing everything I can to stay alive.
Good.
You know, I'm doing whatever is necessary at this point in time.
Yeah. We got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Do whatever it takes. That's the message, folks. Do whatever it takes. And don't give up. Never say die.
That's true.
You know, never say die. Yep. Gosh. Oh. Be James Bond. My name is Bond. James Bond.
I like my old granny costume better.
There you go.
All right. God bless you, Ron. God bless you. I'm going to go. All right?
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. That was Sandy from Missouri. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for going after your RV trailer so you can be more mobile and do what you need to do. And that's a secret, folks. Do what you have to do. One of our viewers slash listeners lives out in the boonsticks, out in the boonsticks. I believe it's Arkansas or Missouri. And she and her husband are elderly. They have a ranch out there by themselves. They have a few animals, but basically they have a house that they've had to remodel themselves and do everything themselves. They're away from everybody, everybody. And she and I have spoken on several occasions. I would love to be out in the boonsticks away from everybody. Yeah, that would be my diamond on the hill, away from everybody. Having a few animals, a garden, doing the show, doing what I have to do to get the word out. Absolutely. Protecting my family. Putting up a huge fence. Anybody coming across that fence uninvited, go ahead. Did I shoot 4 or did I shoot 5? Go ahead, make my day. Because that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to protect our family, our friends, and those we love. Don't try to pull a stupid stunt because you may regret it. You may regret it. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm promising. I'm promising. We're going to do what we have to do to get the word out. We're going to do whatever we have to do to protect ourselves and protect everybody. Bottom line. I believe on Friday, we're going to be talking more about the coronavirus, some Cascadia, and we're going to spend the majority of the time on Friday talking about emergency preparedness. I keep gathering more and more information every day. I already have tons of information. I've got hours upon hours where we can talk various topics about emergency preparedness or almost anything about preparedness. And by the way, the weekend of the 13th and the 14th, a week from this Friday, we will be at the Sandy Mountain America Exposition Center here in Sandy, about a mile and a half from my home. And we're going to be doing a live broadcast. They're having an emergency preparedness fair there, and we're going to be doing a live broadcast, letting people know what to do and when to do it. We're going to hopefully interview people from the state of Utah, from the Emergency Operations Center here in Salt Lake City. We're hopefully going to be interviewing people from the Disaster Discovery Center. For those of you that don't know what that is, check out our show from last week when we talked about it. Disaster Discovery Center is going to be the Mountain West Disaster City. Disaster City is an area over near Texas A&M University that trains first responders, fire, police, paramedics and such, and emergency managers such as myself on how to respond to and work disasters. That's their primary goal there. We're going to be doing that here in South Salt Lake, not far from me, within miles of my home. Hopefully we're going to have, right now we're planning on also having an emergency operations center at the Disaster Discovery Center. Why? Quite honestly, when we have that 7.0 to 7.5 earthquake that they're planning on here in Salt Lake City, the Wasatch Fault, going to have a 7.0 to 7.5 earthquake. They said in the next 50 years, I'm saying 20 to 25 at max. It's coming here. And more than likely, when Cascadia goes, we're going to get that 7.0, 7.5 right here. Not if, when. And when that earthquake hits Salt Lake City, not all of the representatives that can will be able to make it to the Emergency Operations Center up at the Capitol here in Salt Lake City, which is the north side of Salt Lake. Not everybody will be able to make it. So we're hoping to build the South Salt Lake EOC and have both EOCs linked so that not only can they communicate, but they can handle any kind of disaster here in Salt Lake or anywhere around Utah, and also be able to interface with other states and the federal government during emergencies. That's our goal. So yeah, go back a week or so ago, whenever it was, and check out our piece on the Disaster Discovery Center. I'm also going to interview several people from the Disaster Discovery Center to talk more about what we're going to do with the DDC and what the plans are. Count on that. We'll be doing interviews all weekend long with various emergency preparedness organizations and companies. We will bring them live during podcasts. Every time where we get an interview, we'll be going on the air all Friday and Saturday. Just so you know, that's the goal. So we look forward to that. There's a lot of cool stuff happening, a lot. Let me check something real quick here. Okay, we wanted to tell you about Pahala over on the Big Island on the south east side of the Big Island. We've got 2, 4, 5, 10 earthquakes lined up and down the coast of Pahala. Okay, these are 2.3s, 2.2s, 2.22s, 2.29s, 1.07, 1.7, 1.88, 1.94 going north. So we had twos on the south end going up to ones on the north end. Okay, what are these earthquakes for? All these earthquakes are sending magma or showing that magma is moving north towards where? Kilauea, which right now has no earthquakes. Kilauea doesn't have earthquakes. But guess what? North and east of Kilauea does. Okay, what do they have here? A 1.96 and a 1.87. Pu'u'o'o. Pu'u'o'o shaking. Okay. Interesting, huh? Guess what? It's not over. Can you talk about the east flank of Mauna Loa? Look at all the earthquakes on the east flank of Mauna Loa. This is Mauna Loa right here. East flank right there. Let's see what we have. Quite a few earthquakes, actually. A 0.99, 1.22. We have a caller. Go ahead.
Hello,
caller.
Ron.
Hello, hi. What's up?
You didn't see in the chat where Iquel, Argentina has massive wildfires going on.
I will be checking that. I'm glad to have that information. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just wanted to make sure you had notification. I've been getting notifications from people in my email address, including trains canceled after the landslide near Action Bridge. All kinds of stuff going on.
Well, we'll take a look at that and make sure everybody knows about it. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye-bye now. And don't forget rubber duckies in action.
That's right. See you soon. Bye, sis.
Bye-bye.
That was times and signs again. Anyway, just north and east of Kilauea, 0.99, a 1.20, 0.98, 0.99, a 1.87, and a 2.4, and a 0.95. A bunch of earthquakes just south and east of Kilauea. Go fit, or not Kilauea, I'm sorry. This is up at Mauna Loa, on the east flank of Mauna Loa. We talked about Kilauea and Pu'uo just earlier. This is east side of Mauna Loa. It's going, and it's not the only place. Not the only place. Just south on the upper ridge of the rim of Mauna Loa, we have a 2.24. A 2.24. Mauna Loa is rocking. Mauna Loa is rocking. That's a summary of earthquakes on the Big Island today. A lot of stuff going on there. Mauna Loa is infilling. Kilauea is infilling that whole area. The whole area. So, folks, we're watching everything. And yes, magma is infilling into California and over in Washington from the Pacific, under the Pacific. Where's the magma coming from? Under the Pacific. Yeah, it's true. Anyway, folks, it's the end of the program. We appreciate our callers that have called in to share information with us. We appreciate and love each and every one of you. We want you to know that. God bless you all. God bless you all. And thank you for sharing and making our time here at the Emergency Management Associates Operations Center worth our time. And we want to know, let you know how much we appreciate you. How much we appreciate and love each and every one of you. Okay? I hope you know that. I hope you know that. Now, for Ron Tyler, Scarlet Anonymous, actually this is Ron Tyler at Emergency Management Associates, and we want to tell you good night. Have a safe night and a better tomorrow. And as Walter Cronkite would say, and that's the way it is. Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. For Emergency Management Associates and the Freedom Revolution Network, this is Ron Tyler. Take it easy, folks. See you again soon. Bye. Thanks so much, folks. Have a great night. See you tomorrow. If anything else happens, we'll come live on the air with it as soon as the information breaks.